Hi, my name is Portia from Myrtle Weddings. Myrtle Weddings is a subsidiary of Myrtle Services. Myrtle Weddings is into wedding planning and coordination services, and we are dedicated to creating seamless and unforgettable wedding planning experiences for our couples. Right, okay, so how I started. We started as an ushering agency. That was where the growth began. The reason why I started the ushering agency was because I wanted to create jobs for young ladies to earn a temporary income until they find something permanent. When I started the business, I already had a job, and one of the reasons why I was motivated to start was because before I even finished with my national service, I already had a job waiting for me. Well, somebody will say it's connection. That's, yes, God's connection. How I got the job, I don't know, but the job was waiting. So I realized that I was really privileged to have a job waiting for me. Others don't. So I had the opportunity where my company needed, or where I work, they needed some people to usher for our events. So I decided that, okay, I'll reach out to my colleagues or other people that are interested, and then we take it from there. So that was how we expanded it. And then we progressed from the ushering to corporate events, and from corporate events into weddings. Now, when I started the corporate event, it took me time. I mean, I had to go through the process. You know, whenever we go for meetings or whenever we take care of events, literally some of the background stuff, we are exposed to it as ushers. And then there are times when even the event organizer entrusted their events with me. And most of the corporate events I took care of were offshore companies. So they needed somebody that they can trust to take care of their company or take care of the events while they are not here. So then that was how I was able to move. Mine was hinged solely on trust. The company is not here, so they need somebody they can trust. And because we started from ushering, they knew me, they knew my team. So then they started entrusting their events into my hands. Then I continued to do bigger ones with my husband. Then we started to do the weddings. But that was after I took training. I mean, I was really afraid of weddings. Sometimes when we attend weddings to go and usher, the way some aunties will talk, you know what I mean. So I was not really fond of weddings. Then I took training with ePlanners Hub. I realized that it's not a big deal like that. When you know your stuff, nobody will just talk to you anyhow. So that was how we moved from ushering to corporate and then to weddings. I think it took me about 2 to 3 years to move, to progress to that level. Because I remember my first wedding was in 2020. Yeah, that was when I started. I had my first officially paid wedding job, yes, in 2020. And I started ushering 2017, thereabouts here. So yeah, 2 to 3 years before I moved into weddings. I will first of all talk about how we personalize our experiences. We don't treat every client as the same. You are you. So for my clients who have ever dealt with us, one of the questions we normally will ask is your temperament, because we want to know who you are, how your thinking pattern is like, how your decision-making process is like. There is a stage of planning where the planner will be thinking on behalf of the client. I think my clients will like this. I think my clients can align with this vendor. My clients will align with this inspiration. So I need to get to know my clients as they are. And that is how we started, from you as a personality. Then we can talk about how we are able to manage the whole process for it to feel very seamless for the client, so that even though you are planning, you don't feel overwhelmed. Of course, there is a stage where sometimes you may feel overwhelmed from different, factors. But then at least you will know that it is better than you know, you yourself will know that, I mean, it would have, if I were to do this by myself, it wouldn't have been smooth as I'm having it now. So that experience of creating that seamless process, I'm not really focusing on the end goal where the wedding day is blessed. No, the process too must not be draining for the customer. So that is also one thing that sets us apart. We try to make sure that the process is also seamless, plus the cherry on the top, which is your wedding day, being the thing, the final, you know, add-on. And I also talk about the fact that we are able to manage chaos. Sometimes my clients make statements like, all of this happened, I didn't have any idea about it. Yes, that is, even if you know about it, at times we don't want you to feel the pressure because we are there. So that is also one thing that sets us apart from the others. When it comes to wedding planning, as the name implies, you need to plan. You need to have plan A, plan B, plan C. I have had an event where we literally, you know, discuss the various points that we need to plan for and then advised. The only disadvantage here was that the vendor in charge of that particular activity decided not to adhere to the advice. And on that day, the worst actually did happen. The plan was that we wanted to have a backup for rain. And that is one thing vendors and my clients know me for. If you have an event outdoor, whether it's a rainy season or it's not a rainy season, we advise for you to have a backup for rain. And we provided a solution as to what we can use as the backup. Unfortunately, the vendor decided not to listen, so it rained terribly. And there was no way we could do anything about it. So we just had to figure out, you know, how to manage the guests, where to keep them in the meantime, how to sort them out. So for that event, my caterer did very well. The caterer did excellent. The ushers and waiters, they did very excellent. They made sure that even though it was raining, the guests were being fed. So as it was raining, hot light soup was going round. You will not leave. You will take your time and drink it. So then we were able to find a way to keep the guests till after the rain. It rained for like almost 2 to 3 hours, and the guests still waited till the rain was over. So yes, there are certain times when we can't do much about it, but we just have to work with what we have. This is a story. This wedding, it was actually a coordination job, and coordination means that the clients will plan the wedding, and then 4 to 6 weeks to the wedding, we will step in. So prior to the time the client came to us, they were already doing something. They've already booked some vendors. So we discussed the various vendors she had booked, and then we got to decor. When we got to decor, I asked, okay, who is doing it? What's the inspiration? What are your colors? You know, etc. Then she was like, okay, this is the situation. So for the decor, this is the issue revolving around the decor. The decorator is doing some parts, and then other people are also doing some parts of the decor. Like, okay, break it down for me. So the decorator is literally like a rental company, you know, and this is where sometimes we have a challenge. Yes, it's okay if you're into rentals, you want to diversify, but you should have where you can get your help from as a decorator if you do not have something. Because ideally, a decorator is supposed to handle all the details revolving around, you know, the decor. Unless maybe the client says that, oh, I have some chairs, can you use my chairs? I have this kind, you know, and you discuss. But the kind of thing that the decorator asked the client to find was a bit strange. The decorator doesn't have a dance floor, so the client has to go and find their own vendor for dance floor, find their own vendor for backdrop, find their own vendor for some center charger plates and some other stuff. So the question was, okay, then what was the decorator actually bringing on board? So I had to ask the client to give me a breakdown of all the things that we have. Now, looking at the angle where the decorator took them, you know, where it was coming from, it was enough red flag for me. So I was like, okay, show me her page. Let me see what she has done. I checked the page, I checked the inspiration the clients brought. And honestly speaking, nothing was proving that this decorator can really execute the vision or the inspiration the client had brought. So I took the client through. I was like, okay, look at this. Look at what you have brought. Does it look like this person can really execute? You know? But the purpose or the main reason why they chose it was because, I know this person, my church member, you know, that kind of thing. So they gave her that benefit of the doubt that I can trust you. But the process was not seamless for them. She was like, even when they don't understand something, they ask her questions, then she gets angry. Do you know better than me? You know? So there were so many red flags, and I was like, you know what? Your wedding is in December. You can't take this chance. You have a same-day ceremony, engagement in a wedding, followed by reception, your church and reception. You can't take these chances. Find another decorator. We can let her handle the engagement, and then someone else should take care of yours. Because the way she has scattered all your things around, there might be confusion. So then they had to run it by her. She said that no, it's either I'm doing the two or I'm not doing it at all. And if I'm not doing it, I'm not refunding your money. This was when I had to, at that moment they've also exhausted their funds. So I'm like, if you had money, you would have called a lawyer. But as it stands now, you know, we can't even get a lawyer, you know, to take the lady on. Then she brought up a contract agreement. It was so vague. Nothing she was saying was even relating to the decor. It was relating to rent house. So I had to find friends to help me find lawyers who will be willing to help without charging. Don't bring your case to me that I should help you to get a lawyer, with, you know, so they don't charge, you know. This was a different situation. So I had to talk to my friends who were in the law firm to help me find people, their friends, you know. And some of them were willing to read through the contract agreement. There were certain times where I had to miss lectures just because I've got an opportunity to have a lawyer on the line to take me through it with a couple. And we had to spend time going through all these things, talking to different decorators to understand whether the lady is right or not. Are we doing the thing right? All of this chaos. So finally, she was willing to release. And when we had the lawyers involved, some of them sent out emails to her to push her to bring the money. You know, they did it willingly. So because of that, she felt some pressure, and then she released some of the money to the couple. Then we were able to find someone else to come and do the job. In the end, it was a very happy day, but to be honest, that was very challenging for me. Normally, for me, 2 weeks to a week or within a week to the event, I should have sent you timelines, vendors will be called and all that. 2 days to the wedding, I couldn't still think. The whole thing was so scattered, I was really struggling. The first time I had to confess to the client that this is the most challenging event I've ever planned. And it drained me. It really stressed me. I will not lie, because there were too many pieces to the thing. So even to the point of being get to the legal side, it was really stretching. Yeah, so that was one of my that's my most challenging job. Most of my jobs are cool. Yeah. So I took care of a couple, and then we had to weave kente for them. So we have made arrangements for them with the kente vendor. We got the kente woven, we brought it to them. Then one evening around 9 p.m., my clients reached out to me. The kente is not fitting, the kente is short. I'm like, it is this same kente that we've been using. I mean, this vendor, it's not my first time working with this vendor, you know, and I've been weaving with her. Everybody's kente is fine, same measurements, you know, so what is wrong, you know? So I had to call the kente vendor. She says, Portia, I've closed. I said, my dear, when I'm not sleeping, you are not sleeping. And that's one thing I love about some of the vendors that we work with. And that's actually Kente Closet. I had to wake her up that, please, you have to be in this conversation, because I can't even defend you, because the client at a point was feeling I'm trying to defend her. I'm like, no, we've been doing this for some time. We have never had an issue where someone's kente was short and he couldn't wrap it around himself. So it's a bit strange. The whole issue was that the groom was not Ghanaian. And his stature was not the stature of the average Ghanaian. with the kente, because the more you do it, the more you know that, oh, this kente should be enough for any height that you give it to. He was thick and tall, so more like maybe the height of ex-president Kufuor with body. So because of that, it was taking more fabric, so he couldn't wrap it, and that was what was making it short. So finally, we were able to identify where the problem was, and then we came up with an option as to whether we should add or attach the extra fabric, the strips of the bride's kente to his strip to make the full length for him. So that was what we were able to do. Kente Kosa did that in a very short time and then brought the kente for the event. And that was when he was able to wrap that. That was a learning curve for me. So now I know that if I'm dealing with someone outside our nationality, we will take your measurements, please send it to us, send us a picture. I mean, we saw his pictures, but we did not estimate that it will be that, out of proportion, like what we normally think that, oh, this is standard. No, he was pretty much quite tall and thick, so it gave us, something to learn, that from hence we would have to even take measurements for kente to be sure that the height and everything is going to be accurate enough. So wedding planning comes with different types of stresses. Actually, we have about 10 of them. But the ones I can readily recall, we have the financial stress, family and relationship stress. So financial stress, basically pockets, when you are pulling the money is not coming and you need the money. It can give you sleepless nights. Most of the time, that's one of the top financial stresses. Then we have family and relationship stresses. Sometimes you and your partner are not agreeing on the same thing. It can cause tension between the two of you when you're planning your wedding. At times, the pressure from your family, I want 100, my mother wants 50 people. All those things can stress you out. As they want 100, they are not thinking that the decorator is going to charge you more for that 100. The caterer is charging you more for that 100. So then those things begin to create tension for you. There is vendor and supplier stress. This is for those who plan by themselves. Then they show you shaggy. Hello, can I get your rate card? They respond after 2 weeks. Madam, here. Those are sort of things that can stress you out and can even cause anxiety for those that plan by themselves, because at times you may not get things flowing with the vendors as you want. We also have logistics stresses. How do you move this from point A to point B? Other times in the process of it moving, you didn't anticipate that this and that can cause you issues. For instance, you have your event in December, and let's say your event is somewhere at Ebri. You were thinking that, oh, emergency, if I should bring this thing within an hour to come. You did not factor in the December traffic, Madina's traffic, Ritz Johnson's traffic, Adenta barrier traffic. You didn't put these things into consideration. So as all these things become a reality, it puts pressure on you. So it varies from where you would fall, within. Sometimes to social stress, pressure from people. And you see this thing trending, you too, you wish you can do some. You see that passing by, some people, some of these things put pressure on them. So it depends on where yours is. For some people, they would fall under the financial stresses category. Others, everything is going all right apart from family, So it will vary from the aspect or the point where, or the situation that you will find yourself in. That will determine the type of stress that you will go through when you are planning a wedding. Okay, so basically these are some of the things, the type of stress, the stresses that some people even experience all of it, from financial to the vendor side. Mostly those that are planning by themselves, you may experience all of these. Even health. Your health can even be affected, because sometimes the more you get stressed, certain aspects of your body cannot contain it. Then you begin to, go under the weather. So it depends on where you find yourself and the type of stress that you may experience. If you intend considering hiring a planner and you want to know how to identify a good planner or a great planner, first of all, check for somebody who is a listener, somebody who can listen to your concerns. Sometimes in the process of planning, the only person you can talk to in certain conditions is your planner. There are certain experiences you will have. You can't talk to your family about it. You can't talk to your partner about it. Honestly speaking, your confidant will be your planner. So you must find somebody who is willing to listen. Someone who is flexible, can adapt to change, assess the change, and then figure out how to provide solution for the change and how we can adjust to the change. Also, look out for somebody who has good organizational skills. Wedding planning is about organization, orderliness. That is what gives the seamlessness in the day. If the day is not showing any orderliness and cohesion, it will reflect on the wedding day. Okay, so you need to identify somebody who is organized. How? Sometimes you may find it from the reviews of their clients. How many times does the planner share reviews? Some of the reviews, when they are forged, you can feel that it is forged. Okay, so that one day you have to use your own spirit to find forged reviews. But most of the reviews, if you realize that certain things is consistent in the reviews that the clients have shared, you'll be able to trace it. You know, something you may see that this person said this, it was seamless for me. I didn't feel I was even planning a wedding. I didn't feel stressed. You will see that cohesion. Then that means that yes, what they are saying is true. If you don't find that kind of cohesion or even linkage in 2 or 3 people's statements, then So you need to check some of these signs. Then the key aspect that is very important, a knowledgeable wedding planner. Yes, your sister has planned your kids' parties. Wedding planning is different. We can have so many parties ongoing, like, you can celebrate birthday, 10th, 50th, Wedding is once. You can't take chances on that. The fact that the person has been planning events, kids' parties and birthdays does not mean that they can handle weddings. Weddings come with its own balloons. Like, we are in a different space of our own. Please allow us. So if you want to go in for a planner, please go for someone that's knowledgeable. I am not using experience in this context because, unfortunately, some people have relegated experience to number of years, but without growth or without development. Things change, but they are there, yes, but they are not revolving. Okay, that's why I'm not using the word experience there. Yes, experience also means somebody that's knowledgeable. So if you want to consider someone, look out for somebody. Yes, they have experience, but they must be knowledgeable. How do you identify a planner who is knowledgeable? How much progress are they projecting? Who did they learn from? Right? I was trained by Gloria Bachman, ePlanners Hub. Gloria was trained by Preston Bailey. My teacher had training from somebody, okay? And I believe Preston also has where he also got his training from. Who did your planner train from? Who trained your planner? Even where your planner studies from shows the level of insights they may have. So where the person even undertook their training or who they understudied is also important. Don't just hop around, oh, my friend, I'm self-made. It's good to be self-made, but get somebody to learn from. There's nothing wrong with developing yourself, learning from somebody, understanding somebody. That is what will help you to learn from the mistakes they've made all over the years. That's what will help you to learn in a short time. So that's the advantage of learning from somebody. You don't need to repeat the mistakes they have made, but you rather build and separate yourself from that kind of mistake. So you want to know somebody that's knowledgeable, be interested in who they understudied or who trained them. That is very important. So these are some of the things that you should be looking out for when you want to hire a wedding planner. When you're planning your wedding by yourself, it's advisable you start early. I don't know, but some people would wait. You are getting married in December. You want to wait till August to start. The truth is, certain seasons requires you to start early. Like if you want to get married in December, you start planning from last year. Certain seasons like June, July, August, you still have to start from last year. Like, you have to start from the year before though. But then at least the pressure is not like December. December is where the whole thing happens. The busyness is there. So if you want to relax, by then most of the vendors will be gone. So you need to start early so that you can take your time and go through the process. When you start early, don't feel reluctant or do not procrastinate. Don't assume you have time, because you don't. So try to achieve something by the day so that by the time you are closer to your date, there is less work to do. Then you are more relaxed. One thing you may not know is that when you are stressed out, it shows on your face on the wedding day. So when a photographer takes a shot of you, maybe not everybody, but professionals can clearly see that you look tired in your pictures. So start early. Secondly, try and also delegate tasks, to trusted people. Okay, if you see somebody that you've trusted showing signs of relaxation or familiarity, wedding, I'll do it. When you see some of these signs, run. Because in the end, when it comes up and the heat of the moment, sometimes they end up not giving the best to you in the name of familiarity or friendship. So in as much as you may want to give it out to somebody you trust, look out for some of these red signs. Another thing too is that if you are dealing with vendors by yourself, one thing you cannot escape is the stress that vendors may give to you. If let's say you have a planner, at least, or a consultant, you can fall back on their advice as to which way you should go, where red flags will be, just to prep you or condition you to know how to deal with the vendors. However, if you're doing it by yourself, because there's nobody showing you the red flags, unfortunately, there is not really much you can do about that. You may just have to go through the process. Then as time goes on, you realize that the experience not going as you want, then you just pull out. Sometimes too, when you go and commit, you can't pull out or cancellation policies. So you have to think twice before you decide to come out of some of these things. Other times, because you're already committed, you may just have to go through the process like that. Now another thing too is, at least if you can't afford a planner, try and consider a coordinator to help you, so that on the day of the wedding, you are free from all of this up and down that will be going on. Somebody will be taking care of that while you take a breather. At least for some few weeks to the wedding, you'll be able to get a breather for yourself. So yes, even if you can't hire a planner, try considering a coordinator to help you to take some of the workload off your neck. So what I've been able to learn from wedding planning is the importance of communication, adaptability, and organization. Communication, it's two ways. When your client needs something, as a client, be open to say it. How you want it done. Is the person understanding you or they're not understanding you, right? Be open to share it. Try and find a middle ground to see if you can understand each other and move on. Vendor or a planner, communication. You should be able to know how to communicate to your client, to be able to understand why a decision is good or a decision is not good. Provide your evidence that, okay, these are my reasons. However, it's still up to their suggestions. Literally, planners, we suggest. Suggestion means that the client has a choice to take the suggestion or not to take the suggestion. Okay. And when we advise you on something, the final decision is in your court for you to decide what you want. So communication is very important. You saying what you want, the planner also, offering advice and here and there. It's the same thing that goes to the vendors. how the planner will relay information to the vendor for them to understand and get clarity to execute. So if communication is not good, literally everything is not going as expected. So communication is key. Adaptability. Yes, you will not always find weddings going as the way you want. The angel descending from the sky, my dear, it doesn't always happen. So be flexible. If something does not go as you expect, first of all, ask yourself, can I control this? If I can't control it, then I shouldn't worry about it. Let's nature take its course. Let it happen, as it should, right? So be flexible. In the process of you finding vendors, I'll talk about pricing here. Most of the time, you may come to wedding planning with a notion that I'm not paying this amount for this, I'm not paying that amount for that. Then you come and the industry is showing you shaggy. Then they'll see the price, boom, boom, boom. Enya photography. My dear, wedding planning is not like buying shoes from Makola or from the mall. When you go there, you know that, as for shoes, I can get it at this price, because normally we buy shoes. Wedding planning is mostly once. So sometimes before you even think about how much you want to even spend on it, like, it's just one time. You're not even asking about how much things cost until it's your turn. So when it gets your turn and you realize that this is how much things really cost, it kind of shocks you most of the years, So when you are coming, be flexible, so that when you come and you see the actual prices on the market, you don't feel like they are being outrageous. This is how the industry operates. But unfortunately, because you are not used to the system, it looks awkward or it sounds awkward to you. Okay? So be flexible when it comes to pricing, right? So yes, you may have a budget in mind. I don't want to spend more than 100,000 on this or 100K on that. But when you come and the price is different, it doesn't mean that do not push further to find out from other people if they can do it for you within your budget. But what I'm saying is that be a bit flexible, okay? So that when you come and realize you've gone all around, but you're not finding something that meets your budget, so that you can push up a bit or maybe revise your vision to meet the standard, okay? So that is one thing that you should know. Be flexible. Then organization. Wedding planning is literally about orderliness. How clear you communicate, how clear the whole itinerary is, will help everybody to catch or grab the vision and execute. So if you communicate to something, or you communicate something to the planner and they do not understand you, that means that they'll relay that to the vendors, and in the end you'll not get what you want. So organization is very important, like keeping things clear enough, keeping things orderly enough for everybody to easily read through the lines and understand is very important. Your communication should be clear. A is A, B is B. I am willing to spend this on that. No, my budget. Don't come and say, I don't want anything changing. When we bring you that and I say that, this is below my standard. No. Say what you want, so that will help us to know where we are going to get a thing from you. Because what you tell us is what we will work with. So if you tell me that I want something simple, then I bring you something simple, I say it's below your standard, then now you come and complain. So please, be clear. And same applies to us, the planners. When we understand the clients, that's when we are also able to clarify it to the other vendors to be able to execute. So when it comes to planning, adaptability, organization, or being clear on what you say and what you want is important. So overall, the key things that you should, that I've learned regarding planning is that communication is very key. Adaptability, it goes both ways, vendor-wise, client-wise, it's very key. And also organization, being organized, being clear in what you're saying. Orderliness, it helps everybody understand the vision and then flow with the vision.